What's going on, everybody? Ezri Rosa here. What a beautiful night yesterday. Prior to yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles had lost three straight playoff games. We lost to the Saints in 2018, the game in New Orleans where on our final offensive possession, Nick Foles threw a pass to Alshon Jeffrey and it went right through Alshon Jeffrey's hands and was intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore. The following year, we lost to the Seattle Seahawks at home in a game where Jadeveon Clowney knocked out Carson Wentz on like the third play of the game. And then you had last year where we lost in Tampa Bay against the defending Super Bowl champion Buccaneers. Ladies and gentlemen, that losing streak is over. The Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the New York Giants 38-7 yesterday. And it is so funny. We beat the Giants 38-7 on the 5-year anniversary of the 38-7 beatdown of the Minnesota Vikings to advance to Super Bowl 52. The same score 5 years later. Isn't that funny, guys? And I will be the first to admit, I did not see this coming. I did not see a blowout of that proportion coming because it was a division rivalry game. And I was thinking, well, the Giants, they tend to play us tough most of the time. So I was expecting a game like maybe 30-24, 28-21, like 27-22, like something like that. But 38-7? Like, I did not see that coming. I really did not think that we would blow out the Giants like that. I thought we would win. I believed that we would win. I never really doubted we would win. But the fact that we won like that, it was just a complete team performance. Jalen Hurts only threw 24 passes in this game, but he was efficient. He didn't do a lot, but he took care of the ball. He was efficient. He did what he had to do. He protected the plays. He didn't do any stupid mistakes. He didn't turn over the ball. He went 16 of 24, and he threw 2 touchdown passes to Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith. Just a friendly reminder that the Giants tried to get Devontae Smith, but we traded up in front of them to take Devontae Smith. So you had Devontae Smith further just making a mockery of the Giants by scoring a touchdown on them in the playoffs. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, even though we weren't asking him to be his usual like MVP caliber self, even though we didn't have him throwing the ball that much, he was efficient. He did what he had to do. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. And you really have to give him credit for that. 16 of 24 for 2 touchdowns and 154 yards. That's not like a dazzling stat line. That's not like a stat line that'll pop off the page and really just catch your eyes and impress you. But it was effective. It was effective. He took care of the ball and he didn't make any stupid mistakes. That's all you really have to ask for in a game like this. It's really the running game that shined yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles ran the ball mercilessly against the New York Giants yesterday. We pounded and gashed the Giants for over 200 yards on the ground yesterday. Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, who added another touchdown to his resume against the New York Giants. Boston Scott now has 11 touchdowns against the Giants. And then Kenneth Gainwell, who got hot near the end of this game. Kenneth Gainwell, I think he had over 100 yards. He got really hot in the second half of this game. In fact, the game was 28-0 at one point. Then the Giants, they score a touchdown to make it 28-7. We get a field goal on our next possession to go up 31-7. But then Kenneth Gainwell, late in the game, he runs for a touchdown to make it 38-7. And I'm because I was at this game and I look up at the screen. I see Kenneth Gainwell running for a touchdown. I was looking at my phone, texting somebody, and then I see Gainwell celebrating in the end zone. I'm like, whoa, 38-7. In fact, this was the jersey that I was wearing at this game yesterday. It was this jersey, my 2007 Frankfurt Yellow Jackets Brian Dawkins throwback. This jersey is very special to me because my first game at the Link was October 22nd of 2020. It was a Thursday night game against the Giants. And for that first trip to Lincoln Financial Field, this was the jersey I was wearing. And we beat the Giants after being down 11 points in the fourth quarter with 4:32 to go. It was 21-10 Giants. The Eagles came back to win 22-21. And this jersey right here, it really just stuck with me, how we had that massive comeback after what looked like to be a certain defeat. And I figured that, well, since it's a playoff game, it's funny, I actually had this jersey picked out before we knew who our opponent was going to be. And then it turned out it was the Giants again. So I'm like, you know what? I've seen this jersey. I wore this jersey during a miracle against the Giants before, so let's wear it again for good luck. And it worked. I mean, This time it wasn't even a close game. This was a very lopsided game, ladies and gentlemen. I'll remind you last week that several teams, several high-profile teams, let their division rivals give them heartburn. You had the Buffalo Bills beating the Miami Dolphins by 3 points, just by 3 points. The Miami Dolphins didn't even have Tua Tagovailoa. They had Skylar Thompson, and they took the Bills to the wire. The Bills got past the Skylar Thompson-led Dolphins by just 3 points. And then you had the Ravens and the Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Baltimore Ravens by just 7 points. That game was tied in the fourth quarter. It looked like the Baltimore Ravens were about to take the lead, but then, of course, Tyler Huntley fumbled at the goal line when he foolishly went high, trying to punch it in for a touchdown, and then Sam Hubbard ran it all the way back for a 98-yard fumble recovery touchdown. And I'll remind you also, the 49ers were trailing the Seattle Seahawks at halftime. The Seahawks led the 49ers 17-16 at Santa Clara in the first halftime of that game. The first half between the 49ers and the Seahawks was very close. The Seahawks were leading. So you saw last week how the division rivalry games, they could get really tight. They could get really uncomfortable for the favorite teams. We obliterated our division rival. We took the New York Giants to the woodshed. Daniel Jones, after having a tremendous game last week, the best game of his career, he just folded under the primetime lights of Philadelphia. He threw an interception to James Bradbury. James Bradbury getting his revenge on the Giants who cut him, who let him walk out the building for God knows what reason. And he gets an interception off the Giants in the playoffs. I know that had to be super sweet for James Bradbury. Saquon Barkley, we bottled him up pretty well, although he did break a 53 or something yard run late in the game. It was when the game was already out of hand. I think when we were up 28-0, he made that run. But we just exterminated the Giants yesterday. We exterminated them. I did not see that coming. And now today, Eagles fans, we get to watch the 49ers and Cowboys duke it out to see who will be our next opponent. There's also the Bills and Bengals game. Of course, that will be a rematch of the game that got canceled a few weeks back. The Eagles are returning to the NFC Championship for the first time since 2017. And let's make it count, guys. Let's make it count. Take care, everybody, and go Birds.